Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Darksiders 2. We have settled on a name for our first possessed weapon, which of course is the Sheen Scythe. Now onto a puzzle. Dave step on, gate go up. Dave step off, gate go down. Step off, gate close, what do? What do? Dave angry. Gate closed and Dave angry. Dave hurt gate. Dave want play clam digger. Give Dave a clam digger. Oh, you gonna love this one, boy. Tyrone called you up, in the game. He said, I can dig more clams than you, stupid. You gotta be like, nuh-uh, boy. Then y'all gotta race down to the beach with your buckets and your shovels, and the object of the game is to find parking. No clam digger. Well, that's a hard game. We are here in the Phariseer's tomb. Wow, I don't know why that came out like that. By the way, if it seems like I'm in a weird mood or low energy today, if I go silent for periods at a time, that is merely because... Oh, I can't snatch that from there. My throat's feeling a little sore today. But what we have here is a little puzzle where we have to use the explosive properties of the bomb to nudge this column forward a little bit so that it catches the gate and we can pass through. Kind of cool. Not a real brain buster or anything. What we have ahead of us in the Phariseer's tomb is a nifty dungeon that revolves around a nice, compact little gimmick. Whoa!
I cannot.
Oh, now I can. Good. Just topped up a little bit so I could pick that up and not let it go to waste. The gimmick revolving around this here elevator. There are 4 floors. We start off on the topmost floor, the 4th floor. Let's just try to go down to 2 and see what happens.
Leave, while you still can.
So that drops us down to the 1st floor. This dungeon is designed entirely around having to manipulate this elevator. It's laid out basically like a tower in its structure. We started on the 4th floor. There's a locked door on the 3rd floor. The boss of the dungeon is on the 2nd floor. And there's a key down here on the 1st floor. The twist, however, as you saw, is that the elevator does not stop on the 2nd floor. Which is why we actually need to visit the 1st and the 3rd floors. We're first visiting the lowest floor in order to get the key, which unlocks the door on the 3rd floor. And on the 3rd floor, we're going to find a means to get the elevator stuck at the 2nd floor. This is a nifty little bit of platforming that we have to do here just to get across the giant chasm. And an entirely useless little dungeon map. So there were a couple of things that you should have observed when we hit the switch. One is that the 2 cages, they change elevation on a delay. It's not immediate. The second is that the other side of the cage had that bomb plant that we picked up. We threw it at the switch, and now we're coming back to the beginning of the room. So over here, we're going to set off the bomb, which will hit the switch. That will result in the cage lowering again. In the 2 cages, shifting positions, I should say. But these 2 will be even for a split second. Which means we get a little bit of extra height jumping off the 2nd one, and we can cross the gap. And then waiting for us in this chest will be the dungeon key. Boom. Really, really simple. And then we don't have to do the same thing to cross back to the start of the room because there is a handhold, so we can just climb up this time. And they also introduce a new enemy type in this dungeon. I think this is the first of 2 that we're going to be seeing. The Wraith has a lot of charging attacks, big whirlwind attack. She's very, very damaging, and a lot sturdier than she looks. The other thing about the Wraiths is that they're very hard to stagger. Death Grip, I've been finding, does a superb job of letting you juggle enemies that normally would not be all that susceptible to being juggled. It also helps you interrupt a lot of enemies who would normally be able to... Get out of here, battery level low. Who would normally be able to armor through your attacks. But you can just pull enemies around with the Death Grip, and that will generally render them harmless. Plus, like some of the medium-sized enemies that you can't just pop up in the air with a high time, or with your somersault, you can start a juggle off of the Death Grip really, really easily. Maybe has a lot more utility than I gave it credit for initially in combat. So yeah, groups of the Wraiths are problematic, because their damage output's very high. They're pretty quick. They float around and move around very easily. And we'll be seeing plenty more of those. We're going up to the 3rd floor now. We can pass the 2nd floor, but we can't get off on it. And that part of the elevator keeps you locked in until it comes to a complete stop. So you can't just jump off as, well, with how broken Darksiders tends to be, I'm sure there is a way to bypass that pretty goddamn easily, if you want to do that, but we're taking the straight and narrow path through the game. And already we have another Wraith. We are just going to juggle to hell and back. Ooh, that other one just barely didn't interrupt me. I did get clipped by another hit, though. Oh, that flips all so good. I love the hell out of that thing. Let's get the gun out, though. I think we're going to be needing the Wrath pretty soon. Oh, we got... this targeting is messing me up because the mummy is, for some reason, trapped outside of the gate to the room. And occasionally, when I move position, it's just automatically shifting over to that mummy. Ooh. Hasn't done it in a second, but being wary of it. If it becomes too much of a problem... I wasn't able to Death Grip it before is the problem. I couldn't Death Grip it through the gate before. So I might have to just go over there and hope I have some attacks that reach through the gate just so I stop targeting it. Or I'm just going to have to pop it in the head like a million times. Oh. Columns don't like the Z targeting. Sometimes you're damned if you do, damned if you don't with the camera. If you just free aim it, sometimes it can be a little wonky. If you're Z targeting, some things get in the way of it aggressively. This is the other new enemy type. Oh, fuck this mummy. This is the other new enemy type of the dungeon, the Undead General. These guys are really problematic because of this huge shield that they wield. If you clang against it enough time, it will trigger the AI to do a charge forward. And you cannot break through it. You might think, oh, this is probably designed so you can use the Death Grip to rip the shield away and blow open their guard, or even remove the shield from the equation altogether. That doesn't... I don't think that works. I'll try it out here in a little bit. Jumping over them only works so well. In a lot of cases, shielded enemies in games will kind of respond that way, where, oh, which way do you go, George? If you kind of circle around behind them really quick or jump over them. That's kind of the way they're designed to be fought. Not this one. This one is... You really have to grind them out, as far as I can tell. I have to be really careful. At least the mummies are not giving me a problem anymore. I've dealt with that. Don't have to worry about them. I took all that damage just, like, getting the mummies off my back. See, some power hits, especially charged axe hits, will go through. I think that's actually more a product of the overhead, going over the shield rather than just damaging through it. Yeah, those can be pretty problematic. There's a room on the first floor that we can't go into yet, where I think you fight, like, a handful of wraiths, and, like, 2 of those, and a bunch of mummies at once. So we are more or less saving Reaper form for that one room. Oh, look at that! A not-so-well-hidden Soul Arbiter scroll. Alright. So we have the key. We worked our way through the 3rd floor. This is where it branches out a little bit. It doesn't branch out in many directions, but it kind of leads you down a series of twisting hallways, all to get you over here, far above the elevator. So we could do a little bit more traversal, solve one more puzzle, and then hopefully get the elevator stuck on the 2nd floor. And that statue at the other end of the room is what we need. We're not gonna bother shooting that bomb, because why? Why do that indeed? Oh, there's like some kind of church organ kicking in. I wonder... No, that... There's a live action trailer for the game. It's this big apocalyptic revelations thing. But there's a trailer for the game that's set inside a church, and it struck me that what if this was the church from the trailer, but that takes place back on Earth? This does appear to be some kind of church. Some horrific Land of the Dead church, but a church nonetheless. Right, so we are going to try something goofy, which is to say, we're going to death grip this thing from on top of it, which sometimes just sends it careening across the room, with you just surfing on it, but it didn't want to cooperate. You also, oh man, it would have been a nice touch. You know how in DMC4, when you're in the castle, you can use the tops? You can send them spinning down the hallways and just mow through enemies with them. You can't do the same thing with the huge stone column here. Like, it will not do any damage to any enemies that you'd push it through or drag it through. So we're just going to continuously drag this and then push it over the edge. And you know what? Before I do that, let me also come up here before I forget, because there is... I want to say this is a relic up here or a Book of the Dead page. Book of the Dead page. And that gives us... Oh, I thought we had more than that. We're definitely not going for completion, but we can turn in at least a few and get some rewards for that. So this is perfect. We now have the stone columns sticking out in such a way from the first floor that if we take the elevator down to the 2nd floor, it won't be able to fall away. So it'll get stuck on the 2nd floor, which is perfect for us because we want to go fight the boss. The Pharisee who we saw earlier. And we just have to come back across the same way, get up to the 2nd floor, and we're good to go. Oh, I never noticed that sound before. He makes like a horse hoof noises on cobblestone climbing up the wooden planks. Alright, down to the second floor we go. So we've gone from 4 to 1 to 3, back down to 1 to 2. Anything behind? Nope. And there's a pressure plate, which lowers the gate, which lets you into the boss room, but we don't give a fuck about pressure plates.
You would interrupt my slumber. You should never have left your grave. Leave while you still.
The Pharisee is a pretty boring, straightforward fight. He just has a couple of melee attacks. He's actually a lot like the... what the hell was his name? The Hellguard General, whatever his name was. The demon mini-boss from near the beginning of Darksiders 1. He's just a straightforward melee boss. Yeah, I'm a little bit low on health. He summons a bunch of skeleton ads. You can choose to dispatch it any way you want. You can keep focusing on him and just AoE them down with Harvester. You can pretty much just deal with them at your leisure. They really don't add any significant threat to the fight. In fact, they can help you out a little bit by just helping you generate wrath and health. And while we were dealing with the first phase of ads, we actually managed to chip him down enough so that he immediately went into his second phase of summoning ads. That's pretty much all this is. Like so many Darksiders 2 bosses, he's fairly vanilla and then he has ads. Which is not like the most creative design. Say what you will about Nasher. Nasher was alright. He had a gimmick behind him, let's just say.
Do you yield? Yes. Then I will take you to your king. I am yours to command.
All that, and he is so chill about submitting. Now we can finally use our interdiction ability we got from the Lord of Bones last time. What this allows us to do is to summon the lords who we have forced into submission. You summon them from those stone plates. You can do things like send the ghosts out to either fight for you or phase through gates, turn to stone, and step on switches. What's cool about this is as you complete more dungeons, you get more ghosts to summon. And those, that glowing plate that just gave off a puff of smoke, that is a material emancipation grill for your ghosts. I was saying though, what's cool about it is as you complete more dungeons, you get more of those ghosts to summon. So it starts out, you can only do one, because you only have the Pharisee yielding to you. So the puzzles designed around interdiction start out really simple. But then by the end, you have 3 that you can summon at a time, so they can build increasingly complex puzzles around that mechanic. It's a nifty little gimmick. Also, you see they have a purple glow around them that indicates that they function as death grip points as well, so you can hookshot onto them, which will play a significant role in the third of these dungeons. This one being the first. Damn, first one? New possessed double sides. Gotta find a name for these. That's awesome. You can smash all of these weapon racks around this room all of these destructible racks, and they will all drop weapons. We got super lucky on that. Normally it's just some greens and blues, and maybe an epic if you're lucky. Yeah, like that. Eldritch Gauntlets of Fire. Those really aren't half bad. And you can hear our Pharisee fighting skeletons in the background, or mummies. We're going to continue to allow him to do his thing. We'll resummon him down in this basement level. Here's the stone plate from which we can summon him. We want him to step on the plate in the middle of the room because there are 3 gates and 3 chests.
As you wish.
Every time we pop one of these chests open, it's going to spawn a couple of more enemies. We're not going to fight them one by one. Instead, we're just going to corral them all together once they're all spawned and really, really go to town. We are just going to tee off. So we have 2/3 of the enemies that will be spawning in already. And I think they're all going after the stone-plated Pharisee. They are. He's an excellent distraction. Look at that. 2 generals. I know we have wraiths in the room. There they are. We have mummies and skeletons. So we're going to do our best to AoE them down. Now that the attention is on us, let's pop that Reaper form. Again, tee off. This is not going to last forever. Once we hit level 14, Reaper form will level up. And it will be comparable to War's Chaos form in Darksiders 1. It'll be a lot more powerful once we cross that threshold. This is not too bad. The general's almost dead. The wraiths are pretty low. We still have the Pharisee distracting the back half of the room. And if we really need to, we can pop wrath potions. So far, not a huge pressing concern running out of wrath. We can get wrath from the wraiths. That was a pretty efficient way to just mow them all down. Purple sides. Not that exciting after starting the floor above us with the possessed ones, but not bad either. Now we'll just climb back up, and we will make our way back to the Lord of Bones to send the Pharisee back to his court. His court of the damned. Oh, hello. Mommy couldn't even get that uppercut off. Ah, okay, there was one more. Did I miss any more weapon racks? Oh, I could really go for a possessed sub-weapon now. A nice glaive, or a hammer, or an axe, or some such. Anyway, let's go and TP back. Unavailable? Why is it not available? Is it because my Pharseer's in combat? That might be it. Let's see what happens when I exit this room. When I pass the material, the ectoplasmic emancipation grill. Ah, there we go. We are going to come out here to the mall, and we are going to move immediately on to the next tomb, which is going to be the Tomb of the Judicator. You know, something I always forget is that, yes, Death's horse is always described as the pale horse, but the line I always wind up forgetting is that it's a pale green. Why is that? Oh, there we go. So Despair's color scheme makes total sense. I always imagine it as white, though. Just because of the pale part, I forget the rest sometimes. It's actually Pestilence or Conquest who rides the white horse. Come on, get up there. We ain't doing no interdiction puzzle. Basic interdiction puzzle, I should say. All that wanted you to do is summon the ghosts and send them through the gate to get onto the platform. Oh, and back over. I just love how stupid that is. How just perfectly poorly designed those gates are. If they were like an inch higher, that wouldn't be possible. Unless you did some infinite jumping. You can get even more height off the charged hammer swings. So I'm just barely clearing that with the axe. But with the hammer, it's even better. You can do even goofier stuff with the hammer. I'm showing like 0.5% of the goofy shit that you can do to break this game. Oh, it's out there though. And the Tomb of the Judicator is just ahead of us. Oh wait, no, I'm riding past it. I'm riding past the fork. Is there another Book of the Dead page around here, or is that the... No, there totally is. Okay, so that is the one by the second dungeon I'm thinking of. Back here at this dead end, over to the left, I believe, there should be another page from the Book of the Dead, being guarded by a single, frail skeleton. Oh, I still did manage to clip him. That is certainly a much more dramatic effect. And this dungeon overall has a cooler palette. I don't think I like it as much as the... Well, why am I blanking like that? I don't think I like it as much as the Pharisier's Tomb. But this one is definitely okay. Like I said, we are past the worst dungeon in this zone, which is the Gilded Arena, which is worse by nature of just being kind of bland and inoffensive, not necessarily being egregiously awful. Just a little bit underwhelming, you know? And these new-ish enemies are just Cubone versions of the... Whoa? Cubone versions of the lurkers that we've been fighting, the lurkers and the prowlers. They're a little bit more aggressive, and they are much, much faster. But they have a more obvious tell in the way they glow before certain attacks. That also indicates when they have hyper armor, so that you know which attacks you can stagger them out of and which ones you can't, which is very, very handy. But again, the Death Grip works super, super well against them. Whoops, I jumped into the air to start the air combo a little bit too early there. Oh, once you let them get out of control, well, out of control a little bit, that's a problem. Yep, needed that good axe hit to recover a little bit. Was just fishing for that instead of popping a potion or something. Or using some wrath on the teleport slash. Whoop. He did not have that kind of tell, so I'm just going to death grip him away. Whoops. I slightly mistimed that. I'm not sure if that would have juggled him. I was going for the Shoryuken. So I don't think we need him to pull this lever, but we do need him to do something up ahead. Ah, there it is. Right away. We just need him to hit that switch I think that raises the rightmost pedestal up a little bit. Yeah, it raises it all the way to the top. And we're just going to move this stone column over to the middle, and then we can leap from pillar to pillar to pillar to get into the main hub of the dungeon. So we just have to solve a very short minor puzzle. Make sure that we know how to use our interdiction for the challenges ahead. And then we're on to the main hub. But not before picking this chest up. I think there's another something or the other. Yeah, it looks like a Soul Arbiter scroll. Yep, another one on the other side. Now, let's go meet the Judicator.
I have no time for the likes of you, horsemen. I hear the pleas of the dead, not the damned.
And what of the pleas of your lord?
I serve him even now, though he would reward my efforts with eternal torment.
You did leave the eternal throne.
Even here there are souls lost, waiting to be judged and sent into the city of the dead. I have heard 3 such spirits wandering the corridors. Find them and bring them back to me. Once I have cleansed them of their past, I will hear what troubles the Lord of Bones.
Why hear the pleas of the dead?
Before a soul can enter the city of the dead, its secrets must be laid bare and its life judged. It is a matter of mercy. The souls will wander, lost and blind, until then.
We're going to go around gathering his spirits next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.